Do you ever wonder what kind of design career would be best for you? Agency, client side, or consultancy? Those are pretty much your three choices when you get into design. And some designers might not know what a consultancy is, but that's okay, I'll cover it later in the video. But today in this video, what I wanted to touch on was two things to really think about when you're considering which type of setup is going to be best for you. First one is what kind of a designer you are. And the second one is how mature is design within the organization you're thinking of going to work at. So this first idea about what kind of designer you are, I got from Invision's Design Leadership Handbook, and that's written by Aaron Walter. He's a great designer. He's worked at MailChimp as a UX lead there, and while he was working there, he put it pretty clearly, and he noticed some things among his designers. He said there's two types of designers in an organization. One is a hunter and the other one is a farmer. Each one of them is essential to an organization, but give them the wrong kind of work and you've got a recipe for disaster. What are hunters and farmers? A hunter loves the thrill of the chase. They love innovation, they love unbound products where they can really bash down doors, forge the way. Website redesigns are their absolute forte. Farmers, they love constraints. They love working on existing products. They love using their amazing attention to detail to optimize it to the next level of performance. They are essential in an organization. If you want someone to maintain your website and really take it to the next level, you need a farmer. So when you're thinking about what organization or what setup is going to be best for you, think about that first. Are you a hunter or are you a farmer? Once you figure that out, you can move on to the next question. And that is, how mature is design within the organization that you want to work for? What is design maturity? Well, think about an organization where they spend more time doing design than they do research. They are not design mature. Or an organization where they think that design comes at the end. It's just a thing you do at the end. Like you just make it pop. They're not design mature. An organization where a designer has the power and the influence to affect an organization's existing ways of doing things, that is an organization that is design mature. So when you're thinking about what type of setup you'd like to work in, design mature organizations are probably going to be better for the farmer types. Remember, the farmers like constraints, they like a bit of security, they like to work within existing parameters, and the type of work they love to do is really iterating on products, on existing products, and taking them to that next level of performance. Design immature organizations, maybe like some small startups or maybe some sort of government organizations. Those are the kinds of organizations that a farmer would go absolutely crazy in. They would feel completely lost in space without the constraints and the parameters to work in. A hunter is probably going to be better suited to that kind of task. They can go in there, they can really bash down doors, they can pioneer new ways of working, they can educate the organization on design thinking or take them through some design sprints and that kind of thing. They can really lead. But either way, if you're in an immature or a mature organization, or you're a hunter or a farmer, you want to get the culture right. Regardless of the separation between the two, what you want in an organization is a culture where designers can learn quickly, fail fast, and feel comfortable expressing their creativity and pushing themselves in some way. So coming back to that starting question of what's better, consultancy, agency, or client side, I want to share my perspective on each one of them because I've worked in each and I've loved something about each of them. Looking at an agency, what I loved about an agency was the energy. You constantly have a lot of movement because people are leaving the offices to go to client side work, to go into presentations and pitches, and they're coming back in. There's a constant influx of new work, and there's just this constant camaraderie and energy around the place. The camaraderie is also made even stronger by that constant hustle within an agency, because unlike client side, in an agency you are not always guaranteed the next load of work. While you're working on stuff, you need to get more work, more projects in the door. So you need to be working on pitches, you need to be supporting the business development guys who are going out there and pitching and bringing work in. So this hustle really creates that extra camaraderie within the agency. In agencies also, because you spend a lot of time facing external clients, public speaking and presentation skills are pretty important, and so is the way you dress. And that's the same in a consultancy. Unlike being client side, where you are often working with your colleagues who you might often also just have lunch with, agencies and consultancies, you're working with external clients, so you have to look extra sharp, you have to come across extra strong, because again, you've got the constant pressure of the hustle, which hunter types really enjoy. Farmers, maybe not. They might not enjoy that sort of uncertainty, but that's okay. That's something that I've noticed in agency and consultancy. Agencies and consultancies also just have this really steep learning curve. And the reason for that is because you're constantly context switching. You're switching across projects, across industries, and working with different clients. And that's really great for some types of designers. Farmers might not enjoy that. Hunters might enjoy that. It's down to you as a designer what you prefer. And if I can sum up agencies and consultancies, what I could say is that they're just both like high octane leadership factories. Because again, you're dealing with people external to the business. You have to come across strong, often got to think on your feet. And that's just a part of that type of setup. One thing that is different between a consultancy and an agency is the type of work that you do. When you work in a consultancy, you learn skills as a designer that you might never learn in an agency or client side. It's a completely different setup. Agencies, on the one hand, they pitch for work and then they go in and they design these beautiful products. Consultancies don't really pitch for work, they respond to RFQs, which are requests for quotes, and then they'll go and they'll design beautiful products, but then they'll also affect design in the organization at a whole different level. They'll affect people, processes, strategy, and of course, design. And being able to have that level of influence on an organization through design is something that you might never achieve in an agency. And it might take you years to get to that level when you're client side. And these are kinds of things that in a consultancy, you start learning from day one. It really is it's just a whole nother world. If design in an agency is this big, client side, it's probably also this big, but in a consultancy, it's just broad. I'm going off camera here, but it's broad. It really is. It's like, it's the design, but then it's the pitching and it's the strategy. It's all across all these different layers. And that was one thing that I did enjoy when I was client side, was design work literally comes in and lands on your lap at your desk. There's no hustle for it. When you're in an agency or in a consultancy, you've got to pitch for it and get that work in. Tomorrow is not certain, so there is that constant hustle and that constant pressure, which some people love, but some people might not like it. And when you're client side, you literally just get to come to work, the backlog is lined up, you get to focus all of your efforts on creating the best user experience possible. And for farmers, that might just be absolutely amazing. And in some client-side companies, it might be like that, but there might be a lot of innovation work happening too. So that might also be great for hunters. So that's my comparison of the three different setups to work in. I hope it helped. And if I can conclude with one thing, is that it really is different strokes for different folks. Depends what kind of designer you are, if you're a hunter or if you're a farmer. And one way to identify within yourself if you're a hunter or you're a farmer is to think about your past projects that you've worked on. What energized you about those projects? Was it iterating on an existing style guide, adding some patterns here and there? Or were they the really stressful ones where it was a whole website redesign, rebrand, new IA, user testing, challenging existing ways of thinking. You can obviously tell what I'm most passionate about, but that's okay, to each their own. Think about your past experiences and how they made you feel, and then you can really start to pinpoint what kind of designer you are. If you haven't got that experience, what you can do is think about in your life. Have you grown up in the same city all your life and not really, and you don't really want to move around too much? Maybe you're a farmer. Have you moved around a lot? Maybe do you like adventure sports or chess? Maybe then you're a hunter. But think about it in that way, and that might help. Thanks for watching. I really hope this helped, and until next time, go out there and have fun with your design, and I'll see you again soon.